Massachusetts Beer Review is back with you all again. I don't have the biggest collection, but I like to show you what I have in my beer cellar. Now, the first one I have in my hand, and I have had it in the refrigerator, so that's why I wanted to take it out and show you, is the Shipyard Brewing Company's Smashed Pumpkin. It's a very nice pumpkin beer if you are in that New England area or you get the distribution of the Shipyard beers. I would highly recommend this one. It's not, it's not too pumpkin-y, but yet it's not like the Pumpkin from the Southern Tier Brewing where it's just entirely tasting like pumpkin pie, canned pumpkin pie with the graham cracker. This one has a lot of that, but I think it's a little bit more subdued than that. You'd have to try it to, tell for yourself. It is, again, it's a 9% beer. And I've had this one, I don't know if you can see that. Purchased it in 2013 in December, and it was $7.95, I think. Varies between stores. Alright. Let's start over this way here. The first beer I ever started cellaring, I bought to cellar, was the Bigfoot Barley wine from Sierra Nevada. This is the 2013, bought it in March. I believe, yes it is. It is the last one from that 4-pack. I'm trying to save this for as long as humanly possible. It is a 9.6% alcohol by volume. I believe that they vary between the years. I have 2 bottles of the 2014 vintage, and this one is also 9.6. So, I like I said, I think that they vary from year to year, but I'm not entirely sure. I did check out the channel here for the review. I did a review with Ethan's Beer Reviews in Ohio and Louisiana Beer Reviews, Ronald Thariot. And we reviewed the Bigfoot Ale. I reviewed the 2014 with those guys, and it is just, it's one of the biggest hop bombs, biggest hop-forward, bitter, American-style barley wines you can find on the market. I forget, it's like 100 IBUs or something like that, but you gotta really like hoppy beers, and you have to like a barley wine to get an enjoyment out of it, I think. But I highly recommend that beer. It is so nice to just drink and sip. Okay, I got 3 bottles from that I bought in November 2013. Born on date, it says, was born in 2012, is the Brooklyn Brewing's Monster Ale. That's their barley wine. And I wrote November 2013 on it. I cannot see that they list the ABV on it. Yes, they do. 10.1%. Brewed in Brooklyn Brewery, Utica, New York. Now, I'm pretty sure that they discontinued this beer. I'm not really sure why they discontinued it, but they discontinued the beer. A lot of people like to include this beer in their cellaring because even if you find it still, it's not that expensive for what you get out of the product at all. It was, I believe it was $8 or $8.50 when I bought it in 2013 at my local store in town, and they come in 6-packs. Alright, this is an $8, I think it was, I want to reserve judgment about that 6-pack, but I remember it being, because I only had one of them and I got 3 left, so maybe it was that 4-pack. But it was $8.50 for a 4-pack of these beers. And I think a lot of barley wines, this one especially, when I had it last in 2013, I think it needed some age on it. It was very strong in the alcohol department. Obviously, it's got a lot of that brown sugar, candied sugars, a lot of the dark fruits. And I think this was more of an American style, if I remember that correctly. Here's another one. Here's another barley wine I found. This one was bought back in September of 2013. This is the Bourbon County brand barley wine ale. malt beverage aged in bourbon barrels. You all got to know about this brand. So I was walking around again in the local store that I bought the Monster Ale, and I was walking around that local store, perusing the shelves, because sometimes I go to the store and I have an agenda of what to buy, and I never find what I'm looking for, so I have to just improvise. And all of a sudden, I think this was $23 or something like that. All of a sudden, on a shelf in the corner, I found one lonely 4-pack of this barley wine, and I said, hell yeah. So I bought it. I did a review on it on the channel. Go check it out. This one is outstanding. It is 12.1%. It is absolutely outstanding. It's so complex, and just like with some of the other Bourbon County things, it's so complex that you might even miss out on explaining it in a written review, or if you try to review it on camera. You miss out on so many things because it's so complex, but it's so done right. What happens with that beer is they take the bourbon barrels at Goose Island, and then they make so it's got the bourbon already in it. One product was in that barrel, obviously. And then they make the Bourbon County brand Stout, which is this guy. Talk about that in a second. Then they put this beer into those barrels. And then when that beer is done aging those barrels, then they put their barley wine into it. So you have the third thing. The third thing to be aged is that Bourbon County barley wine, I should say, and it's just got a lot of those different flavors in it. It's not like a traditional barley wine, so again, highly recommend it if you find it. So, on to Bourbon County Stout. Now I have I should have labeled this one. I didn't. Yep, got this 4-pack. Got a 4-pack of it last year. One of my buddies acquired that for me that used to work at the local liquor store. And I found another 4-pack of it, and I've had one of them in that 4-pack. And this one is absolutely, delightful. Delightful. They come out with that year age on them. And it's just a nice barrel-aged stout experience to the max. You really get a bourbon-y kind of a flavor. They say serve in a snifter, and you just take your time with it. You guys know that beer. I'm not going to go into lengthy detail about that one. Here's one I had the other day. This one comes in a 6-pack. It's a year-round offering. It's the Old Foghorn from Anchor barley wine style. It's definitely not my favorite barley wine. It may just need that extra time. It's 10%. It may just need that extra time in the basement, in the cellar here to, rough out the edges. It's a very in-your-face, very big, sugary notes to that beer. It just may need some time. It's not a huge hot bomb, but it just may need some time in the cellar to do its thing. Here's one that surprised me. Bottled on December 1st, 2014, is just the standard old. It's not a breakfast stout. It's not a Kentucky breakfast stout. It's just Founder's Imperial Stout. That one is just absolutely amazing at 10.5% and 90 IBUs. It is just a delightful drink in a glass. I think this is probably easy enough to find. I don't remember the price. I saw it and I said, let's do it. It's such a smooth and enjoyable drinking Imperial Stout. I'm just going to tell you that one. So go find that. Okay, you can probably see this 4-pack here. Again, I reviewed this one with Ethan's Beer Reviews and with Average Joe up there in upstate New York by the border. This is the Weyerbacher Sunday Morning Stout, and it is at 11.3% alcohol by volume. Now, I have never had the Founder's Kentucky Breakfast Stout, but there are a lot of people on the interwebs that will tell you, or either they will tell you or they pose the question of, this is a Kentucky Breakfast Stout killer, or is it a Kentucky Breakfast Stout killer? I cannot tell you that, but this was like $16.99 or something like that, so it's not the cheapest beer you can buy, but it's certainly a good one, and it might be a little bit harder to find just because I don't think that Weyerbacher has a gigantic distribution from the Northeast and then the South all the way to about the Ohio type region. But this one was bottled on the 24th of March, 2015. And they say it's good until that date in 2017. Very, very nice, big roasted coffee notes in the nose. Not as big in the mouthfeel and in the taste, but definitely got 11.3%. You do feel it warming, but, you know, to tell you the truth, it's a lot more smooth than you would anticipate. And even kind of how I was describing it, it is a lot smoother than that. But this is pretty good. I'd say chill it down. Not ice cold, but have it a little cool and you'll enjoy it. Haven't tried this one yet. I just bought a single. I just bought a single of it a while back for $3. The Cooper's Vintage Ale 2009. This is the second oldest beer that I own in my cellar. It is, I don't even remember what they're going to call, what they sort of call this. It's probably just a old style ale, I guess. 12.7 fluid ounces and it's 7.5%. I really have no clue about it, but it's cheap enough beer that I think a lot of guys have at least one or two in their collection. Okay. Here's a very interesting 750 milliliter bottle. If I can get it out for you all. This one was acquired, and I had 2 bottles and drank one of them at the time, and I am cellaring this one. This one is the 2014 Trader Joe's Vintage Ale. Dark ale brewed with spices and natural flavor added. 9% ABV in the 750 milliliter bottle. This stuff is made exclusively for Trader Joe's by Unibrew, which is up there in Quebec. This is made in Chambly, Quebec, Canada, imported by Unibrew USA. Best before 2017, July 2nd. This is a phenomenal beer for about like $8. If you really like your Belgian-style dark ales, quads, even some doubles, or Abbey Ales, or whatever, and you got Trader Joe's in your area, you are criminally insane to not buy at least 2 bottles of this, drink one, and then cellar it, or, you know, even buy 3. They come out with a new vintage every single year. Okay, let's do this one. Never had this one yet. I believe it's discontinued now. This one is the Vampire Slayer Imperial American Stout, 2nd Anniversary Ale series from Clown Shoes Brewery. Now, Clown Shoes is by way of Ipswich, Massachusetts. They are a contract brew brand, but they don't, which means they don't have their own brewery. They usually use, and it says it here, they usually use, and I've never even heard of their beers before, they usually use the Mercury Brewing Company to brew a lot of their beers. This one is 10% alcohol by volume. Now, I tried Blakehorn Unidragon, which is one of their other American-style stouts. That might have been I don't know if that was Christmas time. That might have been Thanksgiving. And I thought that was just a total mess of a beer. So I'm just going to let this sit around and maybe one day give this one a try. Hopefully it's not too much of a, a mess. Between the alcohol and the weird bitter flavors. But you never know. Here's another stout. I've been wanting to try a beer, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, so forgive me. This one is Nogno from, I almost said Poland, but these guys are from Norway. This is their Sweet Horizon. This little 8.5 bottle in here was about like 16 or 17 bucks. I know, but I just wanted to try one of their beers. Just bought it this year. Gonna let it sit around. I don't know how long. But they always come in these nice, cool-looking tins. And this is a, I believe they say it is a Norwegian ale with coffee added. It is an Imperial Stout at 14%. So, that could be interesting. They say it's 65 IBUs at 14%. So, we'll have to give it some time. Maybe review it on camera. Sweet Horizons. Okay, what's up next? Got some beers in the back row here. Well, here's one I just acquired. After seeing it on a shelf at one of my local stores and pinching myself for not buying it at that particular time, I just bought it last week. This is I got 2 bottles of it. One is in that refrigerator behind us, chilling so I can drink it fresh. This one's going to age. This is Sierra Nevada's barrel-aged Bigfoot barley wine. The first store, here's the bottle. The first store that I went to, that I ran across it by happenstance, I guess, I think it was $15. This one was acquired at just a little small bottle shop in Newton, Mass. for $25.95 each. So I got ripped off slightly, because a lot of people say 15, 17, I've heard on the internet. But from what I understand, and it is 11.9%, from what I understand, the bourbon barrels that they use between Jack Daniels and Jim Beam, this normal everyday bourbon, that as far as that big hoppy flavor and note that you get from Sierra Nevada's barley wine, the normal non-barrel aged versions, the barrel aging process brings that down a little bit and just gives you more depth of complexity without it being, this one's not considered a hot bomb to most, so I'm going to look real forward to trying that. That was my beer of 2015 to buy. What else do I have? I got 2 more for you. This is an Imperial Stout from the good folks at Leinenkugel. Yes, that's right. They are just not shandy people. They also make beers in a series called the Big Eddy, which is something to do. Big Eddy, Big Eddy is a river in Chippewa Falls, and they named it after, the Big Eddy Spring in Chippewa Falls. This one is their Russian Imperial Stout, dark and complex with 11 malts and grains, balanced by 3 different and distinct hops. 9.5%. Big Eddy. So far, out of the things that I have in the cellar, it is my least favorite beer at the moment. I think you get a lot of big dark fruit qualities, and the alcohol note is very present. I think I got 2 left here, and I think that I'm going to try to hold on to these. They say 2013 on them, so I'm going to hold on to them for a little bit longer and see what they do. Hopefully some of that big dark cherries and that alcohol-soaked cherry thing going on in it subsides a little bit. But hopefully that happens. And the last one, if I can get it out, I don't want to drop it, is, and I bought it in May of 2013. Didn't even think this brand was out here, but this one store in, I think it was Luke's Liquors of Rockland, Mass. had it, and I just had to buy it. This was the Schlafly Brewing Company's Reserve Barley Wine Style Ale. 2014. Ale aged on oak. So I thought that was pretty ridiculous. And it comes in one of these style bottles. It is, I don't know if they say it, I'm not sure they list the ABV. They do. 10.2% alcohol by volume. Brewed and bottled by the St. Louis Brewery, St. Louis, Missouri. So Not just Anheuser-Busch down there. Yeah, this one's going to be a real treat when I open it. It's 2008 vintage. It's the oldest vintage beer I've ever bought. And have been cellaring here. So this one's going to be a real treat. So I've had it for, this month now for 2 years. So it's just going to get better and better with age. I believe that the Schlafly Reserve Barley wine is discontinued. Not really sure why, and I guess I'm not really sure why I found a Schlafly beer, because as far as I understand, even going on their website, they don't distribute these beers up this way. So I do not know how Luke's Liquors acquired this beer, but they did, and I'm gonna be a happy camper when somebody wants to come over and share this with me when I'm fully ready to try it out. Okay, so there's my little spiel. Here's my little rant. I can go into detail about these beers here that I have, because I don't have such a large collection like a lot of folks do on the internet. But this has been Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Keep tasting those great beers. Try cellaring. It's a hard concept when all you want to do is buy the beers and you cannot wait to drink them, but I really do think in general you can be rewarded with the aging experience, just like wine. And remember, I don't know if you can't see the ones below here, but the family's got some wine sitting around here. You do not want to lay them down horizontally. You want to have them vertical, upright. It's not like aging a wine, but it's the same concept. Keep it in a cool environment, like in this utility room in my finished basement. It's probably around 50, 55, 56 degrees, so that's pretty good. Keep it out of the light and you will be rewarded. Again, this has been Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Keep tasting those great beers. See you soon with a actual beer review.